Alright, welcome to the next part of the training, which is all about the green highlighter. Now this green highlighter is going to represent a lot of things. After you get your CDL license, green does represent the dollar bills and the Benjamins that are coming your way. But before we get there, we have to make sure we're using the green highlighter so we can pass our test. So the green highlighter is going to be the first color we're going to use on this pre-trip inspection script. And this is going to be everything that has to do with the front of the vehicle and underneath the hood of the vehicle specifically. Right? So the first thing that I want you to highlight in the pre-trip script, and again, throughout this training, you can pause, you can rewind if you miss something. If I'm going a little bit too fast, no big deal. Take your time because we want to make sure that this is 100% correct. But when you finish all of this training, you're then going to show it to one of our team members, and then our team is then going to review it. And if there's something wrong, you're going to have to go back and start this thing all over again. So it's better to get this done right the first time. All right, so green again is everything on the front of the vehicle and anything that's underneath the hood. So the first thing we're going to highlight is right up front on the top. You're going to see front of vehicle / engine area. Highlight that in green so we know exactly what the green signifies. The next thing we're going to highlight is where it says lenses. That's going to be followed by where it says fluid levels. Then underneath that we're going to highlight in green engine oil, power steering fluid, coolant. They're all underlined and bolded there. So the lenses is going to have to do with any kind of covers, lights that you see on the front of the vehicle. So you're talking about headlights, high beams, turn signals, clearance lights, that kind of stuff, right? When it comes to the fluids, these are going to be the 3 fluids that you're going to have to make sure that you check underneath the engine itself to make sure they're all on proper level. And we're going to go into detail during the actual physical training to say exactly what you're going to say for each one of these. The next one's going to be, that we're going to highlight in green, is going to be called fluid and air leaks. All right, so we're going to make sure we're highlighting that. And what this section is going to be talking about is we're going to be checking under the engine and transmission, making sure there's no puddles on the ground, no dripping fluid. We're going to make sure we're checking all of our hoses to make sure they're all in good condition and not leaking. And that's when it comes to air hoses and fluid hoses as well. And then the next thing I want you to highlight in green is going to be the steering system. Right, so the steering system has a few different components in there, and that's why we bolded out a few of those words, which is going to be the power steering box. Please highlight that in green like you see up here. The steering hoses, and also highlight in green links, arms, and rods. So the steering system sounds exactly what it is, which is anytime you turn the steering wheel, it's going to turn your front axle tires. So all the components that has to do with that mechanism right there is what we're going to be talking about in the steering system portion that is in green. And that's pretty much it. So that's everything for the green section. Like I said, once you get into the actual training hands-on, we're going to go into all this in much more detail. But at the end of this training module, you're going to see me going through a full pre-trip inspection, so you have a much clearer idea of the words you're going to have to say for it. But if you've been reading along, you'll see exactly what words you're going to have to use to inspect each one of these items. And this must be word for word. If you don't inspect these things word for word, you have the chance of not getting credit, which means that could be the difference between passing and failing. All right, so I'll see you in the next video where we're going to be talking about the yellow highlighter.